Good morning, Alan, and hello, everyone else. I'm Terry. Welcome to TARDIS Spider. Today, it's time for the Fourth Doctor to explore. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. And now, Tom Baker. It's time for the Fourth Doctor to explore. In the first half of the Tom Baker era, almost half of the stories are unearthed. This will change. It is time for the Fourth Doctor to explore. Change comes to Doctor Who when the TARDIS crew expands to 3 with K9 joining. Confined to the TARDIS in the image of the Fandal, he will prove his worth at Leela's side in the Sunmakers. This is Robert Holmes' condemnation of a cruel plutocratic society and at the same time taking swipes at the inland revenue. The Graham Williams era was often beset by bad luck during his time as producer. Overspending would force him into using excessive CSO and Underworld, with the results looking rather pale in comparison to Star Wars. Personal note: why is a low-budget television show worried about how it compares to a big-budget movie? They are two totally different projects. David Weir's Killers of the Dark would be far too ambitious for Doctor Who's budget, and as a result, Graham Williams and Anthony Reed would quickly draft The Invasion of Time. In Part 6, the Sontaran invasion was thwarted, and Leela would surprise all by staying on Gallifrey with Andred. K9 would stay with his mistress. The long-held ambition of a season-long story arc would be realized in Season 16. The Doctor would search for and find the segments of the Key to Time. The stories from this season: the Reboss operation, con men selling the planet to a mad tyrant, the Pirate Planet, written by newcomer Douglas Adam, the Captain collects planets, the Stones of Blood, blood-eating stones controlled by a criminal from hyperspace, the Androids of Terra, a strange mix of science and feudal society. Mary Tam will play 3 different parts. The Power of Kroll. Natives and power-hungry humans face Kroll. The Armageddon Factor, a 6-part finale with the Key to Time complete. Maybe. The Doctor will be assisted by a new version of K9 and fellow Time Lord Romana. The Key to Time as a season is a success, with this being an example followed for a shortened season series in Flux. The Stones of Blood is Doctor Who's 100th story, an in-story celebration as the Doctor's 750th birthday was squashed as Graham Williams felt the humor in the program was getting out of hand. Behind the scenes, Tom Baker was getting frustrated with his lack of input in the series. During the recording of The Power of Kroll, Tom Baker would threaten to resign unless given some control in scripts, casting, think Lalla Ward, and directors. For Graham Williams, just another problem to deal with. Tom Baker would be placated without making unworkable concession, but Mary Tam could not be persuaded to stay. When Season 17 returned, the changing of Romana was done in a Douglas Adams style. Romana initiates a regeneration at the beginning of the Destiny of the Daleks, trying on several different, and yes, very different bodies before Lalla Ward, Princess Astra from last season, was chosen. Ward is a favorite of Tom Baker. The two would get along so well that they would marry in 1980. Destiny of the Daleks. The Daleks searched for Davros on Skaro to aid in their war against the Movellans. This is the final Doctor Who script for Terry Nation. City of Death has the first overseas location filming in the series' history. This story has extraordinary special effects for its time and a strong guest cast led by Julian Glover as Skaroth. ITV was off the air due to industrial action, giving Doctor Who the largest viewing figures in the history of both classic and New Who, with viewing figures peaking at 16.1 million for the final episode. The 3 remaining broadcast episodes: The Creature from the Pit, with its slightly off-color alien; The Nightmares of Eden, a tale of a drug smuggler who thinks a noble cause forgives his wrongs; and The Horns of the Nimon, a story of over-the-top villains and over-the-top alien costumes. In their own, these are intelligent stories, but they all ended as less than distinguished ones. Now Shada, once an incomplete story or masterpiece, finished with animation and new audio recordings, with as many of the original cast as possible. In 1980, change would bring new producer John Nathan Turner. He would make his mark immediately with a new logo and a new title sequence. The opening theme was replaced by a new electronic interpretation. Tom Baker also got a makeover with a burgundy scarf, coat, and hat. Plus, the question marks on his collar would debut. Season 18's opener, The Leisure Hive, a startling overture to modernism, delivered with panache. JNT's reimagining of the show would continue in the less-than-stellar effort, Meglos. This story at least gave us the image of a cactoid doctor, which impressed Madame Tussauds so much that it was added next to the figure of the doctor. With JNT's approval, Christopher Bidmead would initiate a move away from the whimsical Graham Williams Douglas Adams style to a more science fiction approach. On October 24th, the day before the broadcast of episode 1 of Full Circle, it would be announced that Tom Baker would be leaving at the conclusion of season 18. Full Circle is the first in a trilogy of stories set in E-space. When the Doctor leaves Alzarus after sending the humans into space, the Doctor will discover a stowaway, Adric. While Full Circle has a youthful cast and writer, the next story will take a darker, older feel. Terrance Dicks, an elder statesman at this point in Doctor Who, will write the next E-space story, State of Decay, a story that began as the vampire mutation in 1977, and it still bore many of the Gothic hallmarks of that era. The E-space trilogy would come to an end in Warrior's Gate, a tale of realized abstract flourishes. Romana would stay behind with K9 to help free the Tharls from slavery. With only Adric to travel with, we will head into a meeting with the Keeper of Traken. This 4-part story will add new characters to JNT's reinvention of Doctor Who. We will meet the next incarnation of the Master, a young Nyssa. The Master will steal the body of Tremas, Nyssa's father, to use as his own. With the cloister bell ringing and a strange white figure, a feeling of dread comes to the story Logopolis. Tom Baker's final story would begin with the introduction of the last of the new companions, Australian air hostess Tegan Jarvanka. Christopher Bidmead's script would see the Doctor defeat the Master only to make the ultimate sacrifice, falling from a radio telescope. He will spend his final moments with his 3 young companions. Tom Baker's Doctor began flat on his back and ended the same way. This does not in any way describe his era, as this is the most popular Doctor, the longest reign of any Doctor, and without a doubt, the tall, bushy-haired, long-scarfed hero is the image of the Doctor that most fans of the classic series to this day see. Tom Baker is the Doctor. Next, an old man in a young body, Peter Davison. So enjoy your journey through time and space. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please never ever forget, a child cannot have a favorite book if they do not have one. Give a child a book today. Good night.